What's up, Spud Nation, and welcome to the Sports Couch. I'm your host, Craig Bergner. Well, welcome. We're going to be recapping a fantastic Walleye event on the head-to-head circuit. Walleye event number 3 taking place on the Winnebago chain. It was a ton of fun. Upsets galore. We're going to talk about it all right here today. Joining me is my man, Tyler Corey, the voice of Head to Head. Tyler, what's happening, dude?
What up?
Yeah, buddy.
They caught some fish yesterday, just no big ones. Except for Joe.
Bulls.
Joe had a nice one. But
the Hammer Okada.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Out of left field, too.
Dude, it was so good to see. I can't wait to talk about all these matchups and recap them. Hear the interviews. Joe, he's got to be smiling.
Absolutely.
He's got to be smiling today still.
Absolutely. That was the Joe Okada that we figured that we would see this season, and I knew it was only a matter of time before that would show out, and there it was, event 3.
All it took was me jumping off the Joe Okada bandwagon and into the water.
That's right.
Yeah, I went and poisoned some other duos with my wonderful picks. I apologize, guys. I don't know. You're going to have to overcome my picks.
Yeah.
and win your matchups. Yeah, man, it was a lot of fun. We saw some good fish be caught yesterday. Guys changing spots, changing up tactics a little bit. Saw a crazy sequence where a duo caught a fishing rod, then they caught a hat, and then they caught a fish. It was like just a trifecta. It was fantastic.
Wild.
Yeah, it was a wild sequence. So a ton of fun. Winnebago chain, always difficult, tough to handle, and we saw a majority of these teams overcome and do a really nice job rebounding from the Yeah, Winnebago, man.
Yeah.
It is a disaster most of the time.
That being said, teams like Nickel and Golke, we saw the Katowskis catch a pile of fish. Nickel and Golke caught a pile of fish. Like, the fish catching was aplenty. It just, that 1 pound mark was very difficult for guys to reach. And we saw some teams like Okada, who it didn't seem like he set the hook on anything that was even close to a pound. Everything that he caught was
massive.
Nice fish, but the numbers weren't there. And then on the flip side, you saw teams mostly around the mouth of the river catch a lot of fish, but 1 in 10 were of that 1 pound caliber.
Yeah, it was nice to see some big boys being caught.
Yeah.
Yeah, we saw some bass being caught. We saw sheephead getting caught.
Plenty of them, catfish.
Yeah.
All of it. The fish were biting on Lake Winnebago.
Yeah, so that was good to see. All we have to go off of is event 2, and that was brutal.
Right.
Now we're on to event 3, pretty good. We'll just keep getting better and better and better.
Absolutely.
We're definitely seeing how some of these teams really appreciate Winnebago, and some teams that want nothing to do with Winnebago at all. So, should we get into?
Yeah, might as well get firing through these matchups. There were some really good ones.
Yeah, they were. We saw a lot of changes in the standings too.
Absolutely, we did.
And some big drops, some big risers.
Yep.
This is going to be a hectic stretch run.
Things are starting to shake up here a little bit.
It's nice to see.
Yeah.
I like it.
Oh, yeah. No one is safe.
We have a new number 1, which is pretty cool to see. We'll get to that, but let's start with Darlene and Barry Ochoa. They went into it as the number 9 seed.
Yep.
They took on Sean and Riley Grahams. Darlene Barry Ochoa get the win, 3-7 to 2 pounds. It was a slugfest.
Yeah.
They put some weight on late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, they did.
2 pounds in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Up until then, Grahams had a lead at halftime.
Right.
Had a lead in the third, and then Darlene they put it on at the end, which is what you got to do to win these matchups. Another light day for the Grahams.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to see how that kind of shakes out. I really felt like this event set up for them. Darlene and Barry Ochoa made a critical adjustment. They made a big move. We didn't get to see it on the live camera, but watching all the cams on the back end, I saw them make a pretty sizable run right there around that just before halftime, and that ended up being the critical decision that put him over the Grahams in that one. And we saw Sean and Riley move around some, but it just never seemed like it went for them. It seemed like they were around fish all day. You could tell the way that their mannerisms and how they were casting and interacting with fish, that they were around them plenty. It was just not able to get them to go.
Yeah, it moves Sean and Riley to 1-2 on the season. 18 pounds on the board. Yeah, it's a little light.
Yeah.
They are now our number 10 seed in the rankings. They got some climbing to do.
They got some work to do.
Yeah. The duo of Durley and Barry Ochoa, they're 1-2, but they got 49 pounds to their credit, and they are now our number 8 seed.
One outside the playoffs.
Just outside the playoffs.
Good spot to be in.
We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 teams at 1-2.
Yeah.
Tyler, holy
log
cow.
jam. Major log jam.
Major log jam. And again, comes down to those weights. You need weight, and that's where Sean and Riley, they need to have a really nice event. Nice event they need some weight on that boat.
They need to stand out. They need to smash them one day to get back in this conversation.
Maybe we'll wave that magic wand. We had the same discussion about Joe Okada heading into this event. And,
that's right. He sure did.
Maybe we helped a little bit. You know?
I don't know. It was awesome to see Darlene and Barry Ochoa finally close one out in the second half.
Yes.
It had been such a struggle, and when they only had that 1-1-5 that they caught at the very tail end of the second quarter, I'm like, oh, boy.
Yeah, here we go again.
Oh, boy. These second halves have been very difficult for them, and they're within one fish. And finally, right there at the very end in the fourth quarter, about a half an hour left, they put that keeper on the board, and that was enough to get it done.
And they needed that win extremely bad. They were heading into this event winless. They're now on the board. They have a dub. So congrats on the victory, John and Brody. Nice job. Big victory. And anything else with this matchup?
Not really. Both teams, it was a grind, as it was in event 2, and there's got to be a winner and a loser in all these matchups, and that's how it shook out. Good for John and Brody. And we do have interviews.
We do have interviews.
Yeah, let's hear what they had to say after that brutal, tough matchup for the both of them.
I totally forgot.
Yeah.
Now, that's why we got Andy.
That's right.
Big bucks.
I don't know. We got one. Had to grind it out. Made a quick little change at the end. It was fun being by the Alec and Damon all day talking a little smack. I made a little bit fun, but got one. Snuck it out.
Yeah, I think made a plan or made a change after our spot 1 kind of died on us, but it was for the better, I think.
And no mayflies.
We just grinded the river out. No mayflies either. So good call, Alec, this morning. We'll put that on him.
Thank that blue boat over there.
But that's it.
That's it. Thanks, boys. We needed that one.
So that's it. This is the third head-to-head event of the year. Hour into it, we pull in a 2-pounder. I just got off the reef into some deeper water. I thought maybe I was onto something. And then probably a half a dozen sheephead from there, or white bass. I guess that's all we got, and we know we were leading at that point, so we're in suspense. We don't know until we check the thing, but we had a great day out here. It was fun, right, Rye?
Yeah.
She had to be bored out of her mind because I'm just zooming around. She's trying to make a cast, and I just keep going, but I always promise her the next event, Green Bay, should be funner. She should be able to front with me. We should be able to cast that fish together. So, all we can do is check and see how we did. So, thanks, guys.
I love that. Get to fish with, father-daughter. Love that.
Yeah.
I think that's fantastic. I mean, the duo of Durley and Barry Ochoa, they knew they needed to win. Thank goodness they got one.
Yeah.
Now Sean and Riley are going to be in the same boat next week, or next event. They need to get a win. And he said they were on them. They just were on different breeds of fish.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's a tough draw. It seemed like John and Brody were pumped to get that first head-to-head win, get the monkey off their back, and they're more Bay guys than they are Bago guys, so I know that both of these teams are looking forward to getting back over to the Bay, and we'll talk about it before the next one, but in the preseason interviews, the Grahams said that this event 4, this should be tougher event on Green Bay, is the one that they're looking for. That's their bite. They're all in on that deal. So they're, yes, sitting at 1-2, but feel very confident that they can bring it back to even 500 after event 4.
I think we're going to see a lot of these anglers excited about the Bay, excited about getting away from Winnebago.
Just move on.
Yeah.
Come on. Let's get off of this place.
If we got to win, thank God.
Yeah.
If not, well, let's get away from this disaster.
Yeah.
So, I think they're all looking forward to catching a lot more fish. And, someone had to win, someone had to lose.
Right.
Congrats, Darlene Barry-Ochoa for the victory. Grams, better days ahead.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think we both agree that they got some good fishing ahead of them.
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. I think both of these teams got serious potential, and it's surprising to see both of them at the bottom, but that's how it works, man. If there's a number 1 team, there's got to be a number 10 team, and it is what it is. We got a lot of season left.
Yep, I agree. All right, next matchup. The Moots clan. The duo of, who did he fish with? It was Moots
J.R. Richter.
Okay. Moots and J.R. Richter, they took on Mitch, Don, and Kurt Yoder.
Yep.
Booyah! That's a victory in and of itself right there.
Absolutely.
Our new number 1 team in the standings at 3-0. They stand atop the mountain, undefeated. They won this week. What did they put in the boat? 12-5.
Yeah.
Great week.
Solid.
Yes.
Very solid.
And the Moots, skunked.
A shutout.
Yeah, skunked. So, what did you see out of our new number 1 team?
Honestly, they seemed steady. They seemed strong. I kind of expected a little more out of them, but given the course of the day, I mean, they had a strong total weight. Things were good. It seemed like all of the mentality in the boat was super positive. They knew it was going to be a grind. They suited up for that and executed the game plan. It seemed to be as well as they could have, and they also caught some solid numbers of fish too. I think that for every one dink that they caught, every one keeper that they caught, there was 2 dinks to go along with it. So they were around plenty of fish, just that bite hadn't really fired up as good as we had hoped. And this was a team that Nick Schertz especially said, if we had some more wind, these guys would be on more fish.
Okay.
More receptive fish.
You said, I mean, they put up weight in all but 1 quarter.
Yep.
And they finished really strong, 6-4 in the 4th quarter.
Yep.
To give them a grand total of 12-5. And then we see Moots now fishing with subs.
Yes.
I don't know if that's going to be the rest of the season or not, or if that's just event by event. But yeah, a 0 is tough. It's tough to come back from.
And Nick said it right away when we saw him setting up for the trolling passes, especially it looked like they were over on the east side. And man, that bite without any wind, with as clear of water as we heard guys talk about, that is a difficult bite to go. Those fish they're smart. They can see really well. There's not much that you can do with that trolling bite. You can speed up a little bit and try and get a reaction strike out of these fish. You can go more natural, go more natural colors on your crankbaits, change depth, all those things. And we saw him make some adjustments, no major runs, no big switches in game plan. And I think that they were just planning on trying to grind this deal out. And until the 4th quarter, when Mitch and Kurt put up that 6-pound quarter, they were in it. If they had a double or something, they're right back there if it's 2 quality fish. And then towards the tail end of it, you could tell that the defeat was kind of there for them, and I'll be curious to see what they had to say after that matchup.
It was weird to me that the team of the Moots, they put up almost 8 pounds the prior week in much worse condition.
Yeah.
Did you see them going about the same game plan? Did they hit up the same spots? Is that what they...
It looked similar to me, in my opinion, and what we talked about with a lot of the guys last week, not ideal conditions, was kind of ideal for that trolling bite that they were on. The wind kind of masks your boat noise. Those fish are more active. They're more receptive. They can't see nearly as well. The waves break up the light penetration, which makes their eyes tougher to see, more reactive and less true, slow, methodical feeding bite. a lot of times when it's flat like this, you're pulling and those fish are just tracking it the whole way, waiting for that bait to do something different. When you have those waves moving the boards and stuff, that bait is constantly doing stuff erratic. When it's flat like that, that thing is tracking one direction the whole time.
All right, let's hear what the anglers have to say. Andy, if you have the interviews, let's do that.
All right, well, 3-0. 3-0. It's feeling good right now. We started off a little slow this morning, kind of worked some offshore structure that we started on last week. We were able to pick off 1 or 2 fish there, but they just weren't quite coming quick enough, so we made a little adjustment. Slid to some more offshore structure, and we were able to get into a few pods. Had to weed through a lot of junk fish to get to them, but I think we finished with a 12-5. Went a little bit of a streak here at the end. Got some last-minute weight in, but feels better than last week about this time, even though a wind's a wind. It's nice to put a little bit better weight up.
I do wish we had another half hour to an hour. I mean, they started to snap here, so I think there's going to be a window.
That was fun.
Exactly. But we were looking at fish the entire time when we got to our second spot, so it was hard to leave there. Got a couple dinks in the beginning, but stuck with them and got a few nice fish. So heading into Green Bay, 3-0. Looking forward to June 4th.
Well, today came over here on the East Shore where my pre-fishing was so-so, but it was better over here than it was on the West Shore for me. Trolling crankbaits over the reefs. The Walleye X Predator number 6 and number 4s were the best baits that were working real good the last couple days. The Church TX12 minis are what we run for the planer boards to drop back for those smaller fish. And then everything on my rods are paired with the Reaction Tackle high visibility mono, and then I put a fluoro leader on there from them. I want to say thanks to my wife for allowing me to do this, and hopefully we can get some stuff figured out today with my boy with the seizures that he's been having, so it's been a little rough. Greg, thanks for talking with us. JR, I appreciate you coming out and helping me. I got a little thing for you here. So anybody that helps with vets or is a vet, I always give them a challenge coin whenever I take them out. It's just a nice little momentum of our time that we, spent together and enjoyed. So thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate everybody that's out there. We sucked today, but that's all right. We had fun.
That's all I can say is I've been with 2 great guys today, Greg and Joel, and this is unbelievable. Thank you. I do collect these. A day of fishing is a lot of fun, and doesn't matter how you do, as long as you're fishing with good people, it don't get no better than that.
Yeah.
So go pack, go. See you next time.
That's a great interview right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wishing his son all the best. I hope they get some answers. I hope they get it figured out. I hope he's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. It's a very difficult situation, and all the best to them and their family as they try and get this deal sorted out.
Yeah, terrifying. I mean, for the kid, terrifying for parents, terrifying for everyone. I hope they get answers. I hope they get figured out, and smooth sailing from here. And our thoughts, man. Best wishes for you and your family. I don't know what else to say. It was, they went out, they had fun, they did a good job.
He seems to be pretty positive about the whole situation,
extremely.
which is about all that you can do in that deal. And they had a great mindset, whether it worked out for them or not. They were just going out and having fun on the boat, which is the best that you can do in that type of situation. And it's unfortunate. And then on the flip side, man, Mitch and Kurt, props to them. 3-0, our only undefeated team in the Walleye League.
Yep.
They got it rolling right now. They are on one. Mitch said coming into this season, at the end of the week, he just wanted to be 1-0. 1-0 every week, and we'll be just fine. And he's proven that mentality's working for him, and they are the hottest team in the Walleye League right now. And as we go back to Green Bay, we've been talking about them as Bago guys, but Mitch put up some great days towards the tail end of that season on Green Bay too, and this is shaping up to be his deal, because we go to Green Bay, we come back to Bago. He's undefeated on Bago. He's undefeated on the Bay so far. So it's going to be fun to watch how this team develops. This is one that we talked about before that first event, was one that definitely smells blood in the water a little bit, and they want to make a statement this season, and they are doing exactly that.
Currently the number 1 seed, sitting 3-0, 88 pounds in the boat. Second highest weight in the league. So yeah, all things, they're firing on all cylinders right now, and it's just super important. Just keep stacking W's in head-to-head.
Keep that momentum coming.
Yeah, congrats. And like Joel said, like his partner said, it's a day of fishing. You know,
right.
It's fun.
Yep.
Have yourself a blast. All right, moving on to matchup number 3. I apologize, gentlemen. I shouldn't have picked you. I am the kiss of death. But on the flip side, so McCoy and Lobs, they were untouchable. I thought Alec Nickel is great. I got to interview him. He's a fantastic dude. Really like him. Good fisherman.
Yeah.
Golke, super fun. Awesome on the boat. I had 0% chance of them beating McCoy and Lobs, and they hammered.
Yeah.
From the get-go. They went out there and said, bring it on, baby. Let's go. We are here. We're better. We're ready to take them down. They did. From the jump all the way through. Didn't look back. Handled it.
Yeah.
Hats off to Nickel and Golke. 14 pounds in the boat. To Lobs and McCoy, 9. So, congrats, Nickel, Golke. Way to put on a strong day. We talked about it on Tuesday. This is the time to bring your A game. They brought it. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Yes, they did. And from the beginning, when they put up that solid lead to start the match, me and Nick were like, ooh, we got one here. Like, this is, and it, props to both of these teams. Like you said, I really thought that McCoy and Lobs were going to be a tough one to beat the rest of the season.
Yeah, untouchable.
And once again, it's not like they went out and laid an egg. It's just that Nickel and Golke brought their A game. Yeah. They had a game plan. They put their time in on the water. I talked about it before. If there's one team that could slay the dragon right now with the way that this season's kind of shaping up, it's these two, and that's what they did.
From the get-go, put up 5 pounds in the first quarter, 4 pounds in the second quarter, and they just kept 1 pound, 1 pound, 1 pound. Like, just kept pulling fish in. Every single pound matters. I'm going to tell you, man, it got to the third quarter. McCoy and Lobs, they started coming back, started crawling back, scratching their way back. I'm like, they're going to win this matchup. Yeah. I still thought it was going to happen.
So did I.
And then Nickel and Golke are like, nah, not so fast. We're going to put another 2 pounds in the fourth quarter. Close the door.
Yeah.
Done.
Ice it.
I was super impressed with what they did.
Yeah.
And they're both fantastic on the boat.
They are.
You want a guide?
A lot of fun to watch.
You want a guide? There's your man.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, hats off, Nickel and Golke. Like I said, I like both of them. I thought they're a great duo, great team. Didn't give them the time of day coming into this matchup. I just thought McCoy and Lobs were just on. They were fishing so well on such a different level. And again, congrats, Nickel Golke, slay the dragon. Awesome.
Yep.
And the jump that they made in the standings with this one victory. Oh. What are they sitting now? Top 3?
Yeah, I think they're at number 3 right
now. So we're looking, number 3.
Oh.
70 pounds, 2-1 record. Yeah, they're no joke.
No.
They can compete with anybody and have a legitimate shot at winning this whole thing.
I think that they were a little underrated coming into this season, and by the fans, by us, by all of us, and they're proving right now that we are here to play, and we ain't leaving till it's done.
Yeah.
So props to them. I think that they're going to be a problem the rest of this season, and they have some uphill matchups coming ahead, but they've proven that.
Yeah. I know.
They're here to play.
I agree.
They have game. They got it figured out, and Bago, Green Bay, they put their time in either place, and I think that that's a huge, huge part of their success.
Super impressed. And this was the duo that caught the fishing rod, caught the hat, and like they took everything in stride, man. They laugh about it. They have fun on the boat. They're instructive on the boat. Like they're must-see television, guys. You want to watch a duo, this is a really fun duo to watch.
It was wild. Every single time we came to them, I swear, they were doubled or tripled up.
Yeah.
Like there was rods going off everywhere. They were on so many fish. And they had it figured out. They were around a lot of boats, and nobody was catching them like they were catching them.
Yes.
So props to them, man. They had that deal figured out. And every single time we came to them, it was like, okay, one of them's hooked up. When's the double?
Yep.
And not all of them were scoreable by any means. But that being said, they never let it phase them. Like you said, they determined very early that, hey, we're not on any like 4 or 5 pound fish, more than likely. So I'm going to net my own fish. It's more efficient for you to stay in the water fishing while I take care of my own business. And if the fire sale happens, we'll figure it out when it does. And it happened multiple times. Like they said on camera, it was controlled chaos in this boat.
Yeah.
And
I was impressed.
Yeah.
I walked away from this event like hugely impressed. They handled all the pressure. Even when the other team was climbing back in the game, they just handled it.
Yep.
Kept catching fish. And again, the duel of their attitudes is fantastic.
Yeah.
Like Golke is so fun on the boat. He could make comic relief out of anything.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this is going to be a dangerous duo moving forward. This is a dangerous pair moving forward. Heads up. Nickel Golke are on their way.
Yeah.
Anything with McCoy and Lobbs before we get to the interviews?
Yeah, I mean, I really thought that they were going to come out firing based on what we saw in the tail end of event 2.
Yeah.
Never really came to, and honestly, that beginning gap that Nickel and Golke put up in the first period was the kiss of death. They could never overcome that 6 pound, I believe it was a 6 pound gap that they put on them in that 5-2 in that first quarter to 0-0. And that's a lot of times you see it. That's the tail of the tape. If a team doesn't fire off until the second quarter and they have to rely on 3 quarters to get it done, or if they lose pace and blank in the fourth, that's where you see these matchups a lot of times get determined, is can you start early and keep it going the whole way through.
Leaving event 2, which, let's just face it, was a really difficult event.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys put up over 15 pounds in their boat. Again, walked out of there thinking nobody's touching these guys ever. They can handle rough situations. They can handle calm situations. They can handle everything.
Yep.
What happened?
Yeah, I think it was just a lack of fish. I mean, as simple as it seems, it just never seemed like they got on that good pot of fish like they found in the first or in the second event.
Did you see them moving around a lot?
Yeah, they moved around a pretty good bit, and they were around some good areas. I know that they were around Okata a fair bit of the day, and it just never seemed to happen for them the same way that it did for Joe. And the only thing that I noticed was these guys stayed fairly shallow the entire time, and it seemed like Joe may have been working out a little deeper, but it's a horse apiece. McCoy and Lobbs are good enough fishermen to know that it's going down out there, and they felt confident about their game plan, and it just never came to in the end.
Still definitely the leaders in the clubhouse as far as weight goes. But now they have that nasty one in the loss column. Yeah. All right, let's hear what they have to say.
See this? This is how the day goes on Winnebago. Lots of these little pretty walleyes. Lots of sheep's head. And hey, through all that, we pulled out a few good walleyes, and the way it's looking, we think we got it. We hope, unless there's last-minute catches that go ding, ding, ding. Whew, oh, man.
I'm going to put it this way.
11 a.m., dude. What a day.
Hey.
We did what we needed to do.
So we talked a lot about execution on Facebook. Last week we did not execute.
No.
We came out here today.
The first week we executed, but still not to our liking, because that first week, first Ted and Cody, we feel like we could have probably got them if we would have made the right adjustments throughout the tournament. And I think being our first head-to-head, we didn't think about it as much. And now we're getting the feel for this 4-hour format, figuring out what we need to do, and wasting time is a huge thing. We cannot be wasting time. So.
And our penalties still killed us.
We got a couple small penalties, but
I don't know I don't know if they ever took those fish off the scoreboard or not.
Yeah, they might be taking one fish off the scoreboard, possibly two, that were our smallest fish, if they did count, because both of them were at 15, and then they hit a pound and 16 ounces after we rescaled them. So
Right there, guys.
Jigging a crawler. Hey, don't leave out this right there. Mag's Custom Rods.
So this is a 610, medium light, extra fast, dragging a jig and a crawler. You're gonna feel those walleyes just tink that bait.
And you're going to be able to allow that tip to go back, load up a little bit, let that fish eat it, and bring it into them. You don't want too hard of a tip to rip it out of your mouth. So these Mag's Custom Rods, I'm using 7/8 medium lights and 610 medium lights, both extra fast tips. They're perfect for this. Oh, let's get cleaned up a little bit.
Well, it definitely wasn't the day that we're hoping for, but we knew it was coming at some point, and we just got to rebound back from it now. But
yeah, it was a tough day. The first spot didn't pan out like we wanted to. The rest of the spots, we caught fish at, and right away. So just came up a little short. I'm guessing about 4 pounds short or so. Yep. Hats off to Alec and Damon. Put a good day on.
Yeah,
but
yeah, they did a good job today, and we had the bites, just didn't have the quality of fish today. Shrunk a little bit, but that's fishing. Can't always go your way. Just kind of lights the fire for next week or next tournament.
Yep.
Gotta say thank you to all the sponsors and family at home. Acme, Moonshine, Callan's. Most of the fish I've caught this week have been on the Callan's show jig. It's got that flash in there, so it's really attracts these fish, especially in this dingier water.
yeah, I'd like to thank Kate Outdoors Rods. They make the best hair jig rod. If you saw me today, I was throwing hair jigs, the last 3 tournaments, and that rod's been outstanding. The 7.2 medium, extra fast, light. Get that rod, but thanks to my wife. She's one of my biggest sponsors and lets me get to do what I get to do here. Yep. So thanks to everybody else.
Yeah, until next time.
Golke and Nickel are only going to get better. They're going to be nasty.
Yeah,
dude. They're talking about rookies figuring things out. They're only going to get better here.
Yes.
Field beware.
Yeah.
Here they come.
Yeah. The boys are heating up. That's for sure.
Yeah. They might be my new favorite pair out here. I don't want to like flip flop and do that this early, but the fire they fish with, the interviews, how fun they are on the boat, and now they're talking about, we're just kind of figuring this thing out here, and we're only gonna get better. Guys, beware.
Yeah,
here they come.
Yeah, they proved it in the event that hey, we're figuring this deal out, and that we have to put fish on the board every single quarter, and if it's not working, we got to scrap it. And they landed on them yesterday. That game plan was the deal from the time they blasted off until the very end right there, and it shows on the scorecard. They never really slacked off. They had some higher periods and some lower periods, but they caught fish the whole time.
Are they bay guys?
Yes, more so. Yes,
more bay. Okay,
yes,
good.
Yeah, and I think it's a time on the water on both places.
Yeah,
being younger, both of these guys, younger anglers, not like what we see with the wealth of knowledge that Bob Kloss and Nick Ackley are. That time on the water is what's gonna bring this level playing field to them. They have to be on the water constantly because they don't have years and years of experience to lean back on to make all of these decisions, like some of the other anglers in the field who have spent 15 years, 20 years fishing on Lake Winnebago and the Green Bay system. So that time on the water is what's going to get them back to even in this deal, and they've proven it. They're here to play.
Yeah.
Like they ain't messing around.
We talked a lot last year about the chemistry with Ted and Cody.
Yep.
You can feel that in this
absolutely
boat right here with those two. They work really well together. Hats off to Nickel and Golke. Great performance. And welcome to number 3 in the standings.
Yeah, they talked a little bit about the 2 fish that got deducted there. That was a situation where, by the letter of the rules, you have to hold the scale and zero it with the clip below it. When they zeroed the scale, they just released the weight of the fish off of the scale and zeroed it, which doesn't factor the clip weight in there. Those fish were 15 ounces the first time they weighed them. They cleared it without the clip on there. They both went a pound. Honest mistake. By the letter of the rules, those fish had to be disqualified. It didn't end up hurting them in the end. In fact, it seemed like it only fueled the fire even hotter, because after they heard that those 2 fish were going to be deducted, they fired back with their biggest fish of the day.
Yeah. Yeah, it was, I mean, again, these rookies overcoming things and just handling business, and they beat a dynamic duo.
Yeah.
The former number 1 seed. So hats off. It was a great matchup. A lot of fun to watch these two. Got tight there at the end, and they handled it.
Yeah. I don't think McCoy and Lobs are going to let this phase them, and I think that it's just fueling the fire for Nickel and Golke. So both of these teams are going to be playoff contenders, in my opinion, and it's going to be really fun to watch this matchup at some point again in the playoffs, in my opinion.
Right now, with our top 3 teams, I mean, if they're waiting for Dawn and Yoder to kind of stumble a little bit, but yeah, man, we're sitting with 3 really nice weights, and yeah, it's gonna be fun. Gonna be fun sprint down this the stretch here. All right, matchup number 4. Lady Winnebago hates the Katowskis.
Yes, it does.
It is not their favorite place in the world. Nick and Andrew, 4 pounds, 7 ounces.
Yeah,
they need to get as far away from Winnebago as they possibly can. It's not good to them. They're now, 0-4 the past 2 seasons combined on Winnebago. It's not good to them. Hats off, Joe Okada.
Yeah.
Joe, wow. We talked on Tuesday. Joe needed a win. This was like do or die situation for Joe. Season could have been over if he lost this one. He had no weight on his side. Joe said, all right, dude, let's go. I'm going to get a W here, and I'm going to put up a ton of weight. Joe just kept catching pigs.
Yeah.
They were gigantic.
Yeah. For Winnebago, those are big ones.
Yeah. He put up 21 pounds, 14 ounces. Joe, congrats, man. You were putting on a clinic, and it was so fun to see. I am starting to love seeing these fish. When the cameraman's showing these fish and you see the fish, they just like coming up out of the water. It's such a cool shot.
Yeah.
And Tyler, I'm going to tell you something. I identified bass 2 different times yesterday.
Nice.
I need to stop watching this fishing stuff. I'm like, that's not a walleye. That's a bass right there. And Jimmy's sitting next to me. He goes, oh, my God.
You're getting it.
What's going on here? Yeah, I know. It's a little rough. But Joe did so well yesterday. And there were a couple times where he's trying to net it on his own. And these big, gigantic sharks are coming out of the water. I'm like, oh, Joe, do you have it? Oh, and he got it.
He handled it.
He did
every single time.
So he's a true professional.
Yeah.
He did a fantastic job, and it was really cool to see big fish being caught.
It's crazy, some of the adjustments he was talking about, too. 4-pound line, really light jig, very precise presentations, and it made all the difference. He was around a lot of our other competitors throughout the day, and he just caught them better. There's no other way to put it. The guy just had him figured out better, and it was all about the size. He did not win in the numbers column at all, but if he catches his biggest fish, I believe, was a 4.11.
It was huge. Yeah.
It's the equivalent of 4 1-pounders, and some of these teams have to catch 5 fish in order to hit that 1 1-pounder. So
he took a different approach than the Nickel Golke. The Nickel Golke were just pounding those little guys.
Yeah.
He was like, all right, now I didn't know the answer to this, so that's why you're here. You're the expert. Was that a strategic move on his part to hunt these big fish? Or was that just the luck of the draw, luck where he landed?
Yeah, I think it was a little bit of both.
Okay.
I think that he is one to search for a little better quality and also one to avoid the crowd. We've seen that in every single head-to-head event this season. You will not see Joe Okada around 1,000 boats. It will not happen. He doesn't fish like that. He doesn't like to fish like that. And that takes you away typically from the majority of the population. Majority of the boats are typically on the largest population of fish around in a body of water. Typically, 90% of the time. So he knows that he's betting against the odds of the largest population of fish in the lake. But a lot of times those bigger, older fish don't hang around giant schools of fish. So that's kind of what we saw. Not around the numbers. Heard him interacting with a lot of fish on his forward-facing sonar. not a great conversion rate on them, but if they were all like that, this could have been like a 60 or 70 pound day for Joe Okada.
Yep.
And that's dangerous.
I agree. I thought he would thrive at Winnebago. Like the lower scoring, not catching 50 fish in a day. Like, I think this would be it. It fits the single guy in the boat.
Yeah.
But if he can keep pulling these monsters out, he's going to be extremely difficult to beat. He caught a fish in every single quarter.
Mm-hmm.
He put weight on the board in every single quarter. Huge third quarter is where he caught those monstrous fish.
That's when it almost looked like the Katowskis were going to come close to him, was in the beginning of that third quarter. They put 2 on the board there real quick, and I think that they were within 2.5 or 3 pounds of him, and I'm like, oh my goodness, is this really going to happen again? And then Okada said, no way, not going to happen.
Yeah, those big, massive gigantors hopped in his boat. They were big. There were fish that he caught that as he was pulling up, I'm like, that's bigger than his biggest one, and it didn't shake out weight wise, but they all looked so big. Yeah. Hats off to Joe. I was really, really happy for him that he got the win. He needed it, and I mean, he's just a good dude on the boat.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really intelligent.
I really feel like he got the monkey off his back on this one. Like, the pressure's off. I can still win in head-to-head, because there was it kind of felt like there was a little bit of that hesitation with him towards the beginning, the first 2 events of this season. Yesterday, I feel like he threw it all to the wind and said, you know what, I'm just going to go fish Joe Okada's way, and if it works, it works. If it doesn't, oh well. But I got to go down. I got to dance with who brung me here, and I have to figure out how to get back in my groove, and he's got the momentum on his side now. That was a tide-turning kind of win.
Great to see.
Over the defending champs on a place that they haven't been great. But
you want to talk about monkeys on backs, man. What is their deal with Winnebago?
I don't know. And a very interesting thing that Ted Miller texted me this morning, and you know Ted, he's the stat guy. He's looking at all the numbers and how things are going to play out. Event 4, we see Miller Solberg versus the Katowski. One of them, they're both typically better on the bay. One of them, after week 4, is going to be on a 3-match losing streak, going back to Winnebago for Event 5, where neither of them can get a win this season. So this is an interesting dynamic here that we have coming down the stretch, and I don't know.
In that scenario, I almost think it's more important for the Katowskis to win on the bay.
Yeah.
Because we've seen over 2 seasons now that it's just Winnebago for them.
They just... And
it's crazy how different it is. Like, on the bay, they are hammered.
Automatic.
Yes.
Yeah.
The fish
can't bet against
we
them.
give up, we jump in your boat.
Right.
Winnebago, they're all laughing at them.
Yeah.
Like, they cannot pull the fish in, and I continue to get sucked in and picking them victory. But I'm learning my lesson on Winnebago with them.
I don't know if it's a fishing style thing. I don't know if it's a mental thing. I don't know if it's a time on the water thing for them, but it's bad. Winnebago is just bad.
Some people are just cursed.
Right.
Man, and that might just be their curse.
Yeah.
So just keep winning on the bay.
Yeah.
Get in the playoffs. Hope to God you avoid Winnebago.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank goodness the bracket isn't on Bago.
Yes.
Because that
would be brutal.
It feels bad because, like, I've been there as a tournament fisherman, like we talked about on Tuesday before the event. Like, when you have that kind of a relationship with a fishery, it just, you wake up and you know you have to go there, and you're like, oh my gosh.
You're not excited to go fish.
Not mess this up again. And it's in your head the entire time. And then you get back and it's like, is it me? Is it my fishing? Is it my mentality? Is there some kind of weird genie in my boat that's like steering it in the wrong direction? Like, what is going on here?
Yeah. It's just bizarre to me.
Yeah.
But I agree, man. It happens in all sports. Just some arenas you don't play well in. Some fields you just stink at.
Yeah.
And we'll see. Is this something that the Katowskis can figure out? We thought that maybe coming into this year they figured something out, did something a little different. But it just might be the reign of terror that Winnebago has on them.
Yeah, I don't know. And I know that they like the underdog position. So I don't feel like this is rattling them at all. They would have loved to have gotten that number 1 seed, but I think last year proved to them sometimes that number 1 seed is not what you want, because you end up meeting the buzzsaw early in the bracket when someone from below you turns it on. So this season with that number 1 seed getting a bye, you may not see that nearly as much, but I think that even if they can't right the ship on Green Bay, they're still, they know that they're in it. But that puts a lot of pressure on Bago. A lot.
I'm going to tell you this. With the shortened season, the accelerated 7 weeks, teams are going to need to chalk up some wins here. Yeah, the Katowskis have a lot of weight, which is great. It's going to help them. But if you keep putting L's on the board, eventually you're going to run out of time.
Right.
And we're almost there.
Yeah.
We're almost there, Ty. So we'll see. These teams, they got to start winning. All right, let's hear what these guys have to say. I'm hoping Joe is just so happy.
Yeah, typical.
It's a fantastic interview.
Yeah.
Let's see what they have to say.
All right. Well, I've finally started to dig myself out of the hole that I've dug since the start of this season. And we just kept it very simple today. Just a jig, a 7.3 mag light from JT Outdoor Products. It's and 4-pound test mono. And with a 4-pound test mono, you can just have nice, your lobs are super smooth. And the mono actually helps float that jig down nicely in this shallow water. So you can get away with a little bit heavier jig and still get a good float, and then still have enough weight on the bottom to do cool things once that fish is committed to it and headed to bottom. So this is a great combo. Be scary to use on Green Bay, but for these smaller class fish, up to 4 pounds, it was the deal. So fun day here on Winnebago. I've always struggled to do well here, and it's nice to have a walleye filled day with a match win out here on head to head. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Should have started here this morning.
Increasingly better on Bago, but still bad.
Yeah. I just wish we could figure out something different. I don't like doing the same old thing every single week and jig and crawler, and I don't know. I don't really have too much to say. Maybe we should have started the river. Not wasted 50 minutes in the lake when it was flat calm and you could see the bottom in 5 feet of water.
Kudos to Joe.
Yeah, hats off, man. That's impressive. That's good. That had to have been fun. I don't know. I ain't got too much. You got anything to add?
Go to work and come back.
Yeah.
3 weeks.
Drive 4 hours to work for the rest of the week, and then Ted and Cody, right?
Yeah.
It's our next one on the bay. So that'll be a good matchup.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. Thanks to our sponsors, WireTech Fabricators, Dreamcatcher Outfitters, Brown Plumbing, Rocket Bobber,
KLA Electric,
All Out Marine,
Deckett, the wives and the fur babies.
Thanks, Fixin' Head to Head.
The way they perked up when they knew they had Ted and Cody next.
They know it.
Yeah.
Absolutely, they know it.
100% defeated. You could hear it in their voice. Winnebago blows. They didn't like it. Congrats to Joe. That was awesome. And then they think about what's next.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
All things change very quickly. Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Can't wait to see those two square off.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see the Katowskis get far, far away from Winnebago.
Yeah.
Because they are so much better than what they showed in the past 2 weeks.
Not only in Event 5 do they return to Bago, but Event 5. They get Nickel and Golke in Event 5.
Ouch.
Oh,
yeah.
They need both
need
Ted and Cody
win.
in Event 4 need a win bad.
Yeah.
Things are starting to tighten up here, and it's the Katowskis. I have no doubt that they'll figure out a way to scratch and claw into the bracket. If that means that they have to spend 2 weeks straight on Winnebago, it wouldn't surprise me if they did it and just got the monkey off their back. But golly, that's brutal.
Yeah, I'm sure they are very happy to turn this page and get away from this body of water. Currently sitting 5th in the standings at 1-2. That weight thank God, from the event number 1.
Yeah.
They have 81 pounds. And then Joe, massive jump.
Yeah.
Joe is now in the playoff bracket.
Yep.
He's 1-2 with 58 pounds. And heading into this week, we said Joe is in trouble.
Yeah.
Not a lot of weight, no wins. He turned it all around in one event. Congrats, Joe. Also, a big thank you to Katowski's mom for the cookies.
Yeah.
Fantastic
Delicious, as always.
Yeah. All right, our final matchup. Robert Kloss and Nick Ackley. They took on the duo of Cody Solberg, Ted Miller. Congrats, Kloss Ackley with the win. 7 pounds, 4 ounces. Ted and Cody get skunked for week number 2. This is now 8 quarters with 0 fish. Brutal.
8 hours on Lake Winnebago and no 1-pounders to show for it.
Yeah.
That's bad.
And like we saw other teams catching just random stuff, feeling like they were on bites.
Yeah.
Like, I got to watch the back of Cody Solberg for 4 hours. And he looked, there was a time where I'm like, Jimmy, is he asleep? Like, what is going on? That's not the Cody that I'm used to watching, you know? Full of life, full of energy, catching stuff, you know? And I don't know if it's Winnebago. I don't know what was happening, but it was not the Ted and Cody that we are used to seeing on the water.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I don't know. It's very interesting. Things have turned 180 degrees. Even that first event, something was just off when Cody was losing those fish and they didn't crest the 100-pound mark. I'm like, something's weird here. And now double zeros on Bago, event 2 and event 3. It's like this is very weird for this duo. I don't know if they need to spend some more time in the boat together, to have a powwow, talk about what's going on here. But dude, things are weird in this boat right now, and they have to figure it out.
Yeah,
they have to figure it out.
Yeah, the juju, the mojo, whatever you want to call it, the aura in that boat. Maybe get it cleansed.
I was gonna say,
sage it, do something.
I don't know when the rabbit's foot flew out of the boat, but they need to retrace their steps and they need to find it fast.
This isn't the Cody that we saw last year.
No.
And we all know that he's a hammer.
Yeah.
He's just got to find it. Sometimes you just are in a slump. Maybe that's the case. And as far as fishing goes, I don't know if that happens to you guys. But in other sports, definitely the case.
It happened. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't know what you do to get out of that, but it would be nice to see the old Cody back.
Yeah.
Because dude is just an absolute assassin for the most part on the boat.
A lot of times it is purely a loss of confidence, and you have to just keep fishing to gain that back.
Okay.
Because when you're catching them, when you're riding a high like Don and Yoder are, you'd never question a decision. Like everything that comes in your mind, you're like, yep, let's try that. And then it works. And that it builds. It's this rolling snowball effect, and it works exactly the opposite way when it's not going down.
Yeah.
Like that first event, Cody's not one to lose a lot of fish, lost a bunch of them, and now it's a snowballing, compounding effect, and now you're questioning all of your decision making. You're questioning what you're reading on your electronics. You're questioning your starting location. In this format, I'm not saying that it's happening, but there's potential for that infighting to start. Like, are we butting heads in the boat? Do we have two opposite game plans and neither of them got to really fully explore either of them? And yeah, it's just it's a bad situation, and the only way to fix it is to continue fishing. Like there's no other way around it.
They were the epitome of head-to-head last year.
Yeah.
Like you wanted to go watch a duo that operated so flawlessly. That was the team you studied.
Yeah.
It's there, guys. Just find it.
And really, it even goes back to that event where we saw the Katowskis knock them out of the playoffs last year. Like that towards the tail end didn't look like Ted and Cody when they were scrambling at the end. And now first event this year, it's like something's off. And now we've reached a new level of like, well, what's going on here?
Yeah. being goosed 2 weeks in a row is something I didn't expect to see out of this duo.
No.
At all. Clearly, my picks, I continue to ride hard with these two. But yeah, something's funky, and let's hope they figure it out.
Yeah.
They got a couple weeks, maybe they can figure it out. Obviously, change of venue will help. We need it back, because when they're on, people want to watch that.
Yeah,
people want to tune in. People want to interact with that, and they're fun. We want to see that, and I want the best of the Katowskis and the best of these two in the next event.
Yeah,
let it happen.
That would be awesome.
Yes, that's matchup of the year potential right there.
Right. And on the flip side,
yes, please.
Props to Klaus and Ackley. They had a game plan. I don't think that they moved very much at all throughout the day. You heard Bob talk about throughout the day, like, hey, when I was pre-fishing, there's a pile of fish here. We just have to wait them out. It's going to be a game of a few pounds here and there, and it's not going to be something that's crazy numbers, crazy size. But until we see different, that our opponents start whacking them, like, let's stick with what's working, because what got us here? It's putting fish in the boat. We're getting bites consistently, whether they're walleyes or not, a decent mix of species on this stuff. There's life around. Things are going our way. We camp this deal out. We'll put up enough weight to get the W, and that's exactly what happened.
Weight in the first 3 quarters and just rode it out in the fourth.
Right.
Comfortable win.
Yeah.
7-4, 2-0.
They're sitting at number 4 now.
Yeah.
Comfortably within the playoffs, if you look at purely the rankings.
I agree. 2-1. Their weight leaves a little bit to be desired, but as long as you keep winning.
Correct.
We've seen it before. Just keep winning. It'll get you in the door. And then Ted and Cody have fallen all the way to number 6.
Wow.
It's still crazy to me that they're at number 6. They had such a high weight from event 1. Usually to get skunked 2 events in a row will drop you much further than this.
Yeah.
But still sitting within the playoff picture.
Yeah.
But again, the road is not easy in front of them.
Nope, not at all. Curious to see what both of these guys had to say after.
I'm going to guess one is pretty excited and the other not so much. But let's see what they have to say.
The app is actually working right. Looks like we won.
Kind of looks that way.
That's good. We'll take it. Got to beat a good team. So looks like they struggled again today, which I feel bad for them, but not that bad.
Not super bad.
There may have been a little pregame gamesmanship with Ted yesterday. Just a little bit.
A little bit.
Ted. I'm glad we pulled it out. All we were doing today is throwing, again, nothing fancy. It's kind of what we did last time, just a little different area. 1/4 ounce and 1/8 ounce jigs.
1/8 ounce jigs was working better for me than the quarter, but
color didn't really seem to matter.
I had a pink one on early that I broke off.
Half a crawler.
Crawler chunk.
We were basically fishing. We started out in front of and then worked into a really shallow rock bar.
We were basically at some point we were sight fishing. I mean, the biggest one we caught today, I literally watched him come in after the bait and saw him inhale the jig. So
we caught him around the edge, and then obviously there was a bunch of sheephead there too. We pulled a lot of sheephead, but
plenty of those. Yeah.
I found that spot a couple days ago when I was here Monday. Caught a couple fish around it. Had a lot of bites. We had other bites today that we're pretty sure were walleye. Just they were really finicky. You really had to give it to them.
You could feel them tapping at the back of the crawler until they'd finally, and it was just
especially with no wind today. They weren't super aggressive. When you had those bites, you had to really let that jig sit there, let them just pick it up and pulse with it a little bit. And we had several that they'd pick it up and then they'd drop it.
Or we'd rip the tail off because we got impatient trying to set the hook.
But we got enough, 7 pounds it looks like. So
one more in the bag, huh?
Yeah, that's right. Another win, we'll take it. Thanks to, again, Cedar Lake Sales for the sponsorship.
Speed's Custom Rods.
Yep, not just us. St. Croix Rods, not just us, but Head-to-Head Fishing. Cedar Lake's a sponsor, so again, great dealership. Check them out. Ben's busy rigging boats.
Thanks to the bugs.
Thanks for the bugs for giving us a little extra protein today. Our poor camera guy was choking a few minutes ago. I thought we'd have to.
And we did laugh at his misfortune, which was probably it was poor on our part, poor sportsmanship.
thanks to Yarcraft, Mercury, all our sponsors.
Cedar Lake Sales.
Yeah, so you're getting Cedar Lake Sales. On to the next one. I won't be at the next one. We got a sub?
We have a sub. We're bringing back
Alex King.
Alex King is coming back next week
hopefully
to fish.
Sub
Fish
in
with
my
me.
place, it sounds like. Yeah, in a couple weeks on Green Bay. I'll be on Lake Erie guiding for about 9 to 10 days.
Send me the weights off the ones you're catching on Erie.
Send you Lake Erie fish.
We can weigh those
I'll
too.
take one of these
Zeros, yeah.
So
it would be ideal.
Good. It's good. We'll take it. We'll take the win in this calm, buggy day today. Lake Plaza. If you're looking to fish Winnebago, I'd wait till it's a little breezy.
I'd wait 10 to 15.
10 to 15,
10 to 15
much
would
better.
be ideal.
Not 30 like last week, but 10 to 15 would be nice. So cool.
Thanks everybody for checking it out.
Yeah,
appreciate
thanks everybody
it
for watching, and all our friends and family and fans for the positive comments and
Let's not forget Mrs. Doc and Mrs. Fin
Mrs.
Fanatic.
Doc, Mrs. Fin Fanatic for
putting up with us,
putting up with our habits and
our
lifestyles.
crazy ideas.
I'll be guiding on Green Bay tomorrow. I was guiding on Green Bay yesterday. I'll be back on Green Bay tomorrow. Friday.
Now you just let the cat out of the bag that this wasn't the big fish spot you were in.
My big fish spot. Yeah, I might be off Friday. We'll see. There's a chance I might be pre-fishing for a tournament Saturday. So.
That's good stuff.
Yeah. All right. Thanks everybody.
See ya.
Yeah, that was not what we wanted. Fish were here, water's cleaner, fish were spooked, cast, move, run. Went to 3-4 different spots around. Kept coming back here, fish were here. You know, we could see them. They were reacting, they weren't hitting, they weren't biting, you know. In the form of true sportsmanship, you know. Sometimes you get your teeth knocked in a couple times. Yep. It's not good. It's not helpful. It's, you know, really makes you wonder and think and reprocess things. Good job to Bob Klaus and Nick Ackley. You know, you guys got on today. Congrats on the win. You know, we got 4 events left. You know, season's not over yet, but
got work to do to come back.
Reality setting in. A few of our goals aren't going to be met this year, which, you know, those are our goals. Not everyone has the same goals, but I'd go fish with you again anytime. You know, it is what it is. Sometimes you have days like this. Sometimes you have 2 back-to-back days like this, you know.
Yeah, it's definitely been a frustrating couple of weeks out here. Just, I don't know. That other tournament boat was next to us. They apparently were getting them, so we were doing something different. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out for June, though. Congrats to Ackley, Klaus, and thank you to all the sponsors. And thanks for watching. Hopefully we can get a little more screen time.
We realized it was fun watching us.
Nope. That's it.
Youch.
Yeah.
Can feel the pain through the camera.
Yes, you can. Yeah, man. I'm like at a loss for words right now. Is it more brutal because it's back-to-back goose eggs, or is it just brutal because it's been, you know, this is what's happening right now? Or is it just brutal just because it's not going great on the boat?
Yeah, I think that they both were expecting a giant comeback event in this one.
Yeah, me too.
Didn't happen, and I think that they still felt like that number 1 seed was very attainable with 1 loss. They did it last year. I think that they're realizing with 7 weeks, 2 losses and 2 events with no weight makes it incredibly difficult, some would argue impossible, to get that number 1 seed.
Yeah. 2 really exceptional fishermen.
Yeah.
I'm guessing they'll figure it out.
They got bagoed.
Yeah, they got bagoed twice in a row.
Yep.
Not what I expected. Is it more painful to lose with zeros, or we heard Ted in event 2, like, you might as well just lose, you know, put up a 0 and lose big. I mean, at this point, getting a fish in the boat might make you feel okay.
I have blanked in some big tournaments, and there's no worse feeling than throwing your key fob in the net at the end of the day, checking in, and everyone else is turning right to go grab a bag, and you just keep going left. Straight back to the ramp.
Yep.
Then they ask you in the parking lot, catch them? No, I didn't catch bass today. I didn't catch walleye. Not a one of them.
Yeah.
Nope. It was bad.
Yeah, and like I said, man, we saw a bunch of these other duos catching a lot of variety of fish.
Yeah.
I didn't see much on their boat.
No.
So
they'll right the ship. They're good anglers.
Yep.
It's just, how do they recover from this? The bigger they are, the harder they fall.
I'm really excited now for Katowski's Ted and Cody match.
Yeah.
Both need it so bad.
So bad.
It's going to be a lot of fun and might just be the matchup of the day.
Yeah. It's shaping up to be all of the drama that you could want from a matchup.
Yeah. So Ted and Cody fall to number 6, and Klaus and Ackley are what? 4. So both playoff teams currently. The important stuff, Ty. You went 3-5 on your picks. I went 2-5. Woof. Improvement, I guess.
Yeah.
Compared to event number 2. So
Great.
I'll take that. The struggle is real. Do we have a fan tally?
Yeah. They had Darlene and Barry Ochoa, I believe. So they got that one.
Congrats.
They had Don and Yoder.
Congrats.
So they got that one. They had McCoy and Lobs. So none there.
Yep.
They had Okada.
Okay.
And actually, I take that back. I believe they had the Katowskis.
Okay.
They were off the Okada train, as were all of us.
Yeah, as were all of us.
And they had Miller and Solberg.
So they stunk about as bad as I did. Congratulations, fans. Nice job, everyone.
This one threw a monkey wrench in just about everyone's season.
Yeah. Well, event 3 is in the books now.
Yep.
Event 4, do we have a date on that?
Yes, June 4th, I believe, on the Bay of Green Bay.
Okay.
This one is going to be interesting. I think on the outside looking in, you see, oh yeah, Green Bay, things are going to be better. This warm weather, there's a migratory bait fish, the alewife. Everyone knows they spend the majority of their life out in Maine, Lake Michigan. They pull into the bay chasing warmer water to spawn. When those fish pull in, it's literally like all-you-can-eat buffet 24/7 for the walleyes, which makes things incredibly difficult. If there is millions of the real thing to eat, why would they eat something fake? And that's going to be the biggest determining factor. How bad are the alewives? What stage is this alewife movement in when we get here? What does this look like on the week before? And we really won't know until that week before.
Until we get closer.
Yeah, things are... It's going to be a Green Bay event. Chances are it'll be better than Winnebago, but there is a chance that this one could be an all-out grinder just like the last two.
I'll be very interested to see which of these teams make changes, which of these teams kind of clear the air on their boat, which of these teams, continue what they're doing. It'll be a lot of fun to see those walleye guys. They're putting on a show so far through 3 events. It's been a lot of fun and handling all the challenges that Winnebago threw at them. Next event, next week, the Bass Boys.
Yep, coming back.
Saddle up again. Where are they fishing?
We are right back on Winnebago.
Right on Winnebago. Okay, we saw a couple bass get pulled on Winnebago, so the fish are there. Looking forward to that. And we'll be previewing all the action next Tuesday right here. Same time, same beautiful location right here on the Sports Coach. Ty, nice job today.
Thank you.
Yeah. Fans, we love you. It was a fun event, and make sure you give Ted and Cody some grief. Actually, mostly just Ted.
Yeah.
Mostly just Ted. Give him a little nudge in the side here. But thanks again for tuning in. A lot of fun. Event 3 in the books. We look forward to Bass event number 2 next week. And come back right here on Tuesday to hear all of our picks and all of our preview. On behalf of Ty, Andy, and myself, thanks. Till we see you next time. Be great.